Conestoga.
Thanks. My question is to the Minister of Health. Speaker, in 2012, the Liberal government announced an urgently needed electrophysiology lab for cardiac care at St. Mary's Hospital in Kitchener. After failing to deliver, the minister bowed to pressure and returned to St. Mary's to recommit and re-announce the lab last year. Minister, it's 2017 fall. Will he tell us where that vital lab is today?
Thank you. Minister of Health.
Well, it is a good question, and I appreciate it, Mr. Speaker, from the member opposite. Last year, as the member alluded to, I was in Kitchener for a tremendous announcement at St. Mary's Hospital, a $7 million commitment to their cath lab at the hospital. I know the member opposite saw just how great an announcement it was, Mr. Speaker, because he was present for the announcement and as we did the tour of the hospital, and I appreciated that. And at that point, a year ago, the program was approved and the money was sent to St. Mary's Hospital. But since then, since that time, a year ago, Mr. Speaker, St. Mary's has come back to the LHIN and come back to the province and the ministry asking to further expand that program beyond the $7 million. In fact, it would cost an additional $2 million in capital and unknown, as of yet, operational costs. So now the hospital and the LHIN, appropriately, together with the ministry, are working on that request for the expansion, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Speaker, the minister had to be shamed, literally shamed in this House, to force him down to Kitchener for a re-announcement of this vital lab in 2016, and now we're here again, and he still failed to deliver. Last week, CTV reported the wait that Cassandra Heisman was forced to endure over the past year to be tested and treated before being sent to London for this cardiac procedure. To this day, St. Mary's remains the only one of 11 cardiac hospitals in Ontario still waiting for this vital lab, meaning Cassandra is one of hundreds forced to wait. And yet, the only answers we receive to our questions are disappointing political distractions, of course, from the local government member that should have no part in this discussion. Speaker, this is a dangerous waiting game with our healthcare priorities. No politics and no more empty promises. Will the minister finally deliver the cardiac lab at St. Mary's that patients in Kitchener-Waterloo and surrounding areas require?
Well, Mr. Speaker, the fact is the money was approved and the money was sent and the program exists and the program is growing as it should be. We did, and what they're talking about and what we're very interested in is the request for a further expansion, just like we approved the project in 2012, but it's a phased program, right? Because you can't just leap directly to the implantable you can't leap right forward to the full cardiac program. So in 2013, they launched their implantable cardioverter defibrillator program, an additional $2 million in funding then. And with these investments, it allowed them to mature as they asked for, to be able to develop and implement and provide the full program that was announced a year ago. $7 million in funding provided. They've come back for an additional request to expand that as a new phase. The LHIN and the hospital and the ministry are looking at it. I think all Ontarians, except that one, Mr. Speaker, would agree that's an appropriate process.